Welcome back to my daily Silk Road mountain race updates. We're on to day 5 now, so let's head over to map progress and have a little look to see what's going on. And as you can see, I guess the big thing is that Slovakia is really is starting to push out a lead now. So he's just about to crest Arabel Pass, so he'll be stopping at the checkpoint tonight. So basically he's ridden from CP2 to CP3, so it's going to be quite a late finish, but he's going to be dropping back down to it's about 1,000 meters, I think it is, under 1,000 meters. 1,600 meters. Sorry, I'll get there eventually. 1,600 meters here on map progress, which is essentially sea level in Kyrgyzstan. Doesn't get much lower than that, so he'll be able to have a really good sleep, really good feed up, and he's looking strong, and he's starting to push out a fairly substantial gap. Jens van Roost, so he was at CP2 with Justinas last night. He looks like but this afternoon he looks like he's faded a little. Alex was behind him yesterday, so he stopped just before CP2 last night. He's actually got a tent, one of those ibbett tents. I'm not sure if you've seen them. They're the super lightweight tents. They're like 500-600 grams, if that. He actually slept in his tent before the checkpoint, basically to make sure he didn't hang around too much at the checkpoint and get too comfortable. But it was a strategy he used last year as well. He slept a lot. This year it looks like he's cut back on sleep a bit, but he's still sleeping really well, and it seems to be paying off. But yeah, Jens did leave before him this morning, but Alex seems to have drawn him in over the course of the day. So I'm not sure if Jens has got a problem. I have got a voice note from Jens, so we'll listen to him later on. Manu Katrus, he's on a bit of a stormer as well. So he was, if you remember, he stayed in the same place as Omar, Sofian, a couple of others last night up by the Blue Caravan, which is just on this section here as the riders leave the Chinese highway. So yeah, Manu, I sent him a message earlier just to try and get an update, and he just rang me. He was in Narin. So he was saying that, it was a bit that Omar was there first, and they basically there's a Blue Caravan you can get food at. This is basically a truck stop, and he was riding with Sofian mostly yesterday, and he said basically they saw Omar's bike outside this caravan, and they all just piled in, and then the owners came and kind of got a bit angry at them and woke them up. But then Manu said he persuaded them to cook him some eggs, so we had eggs for dinner last night, and then pushed on to the checkpoint, and he just seems to be having a bit of a stormer. He's been touring, as I mentioned, him and his wife Katerina and their 2 boys. I showed a few videos from Katerina up at CP1 where they're volunteering. They've been touring, and they know this area, so Manu's feeling pretty good. He was basically telling me he wants to try and catch Alex, but it looks like he might be catching Jens. I'm not sure if he's closed the gap on Alex or not, but again, Manu's really acclimatized to the altitude. He's been out there for 3 weeks already, and he's already ridden this valley, so he was excited. He seemed really positive. Although we had just had a big meal in Narin, so a big meal on the Silk Road mountain race does tend to make you feel a bit more positive than you normally would. And then we have this little chase group. So Omar's in there, Sofian's in there, and Max. And Niels is in there as well, so 4 of them. And this is, I guess, our second group on the road. And then we've got Stephen Davis and Dickie Hibbert in the kind of, I guess, the chase. There's a little resupply there, actually. There's a small shop, so they might even be staying there. It's probably getting on pretty late. All these guys, I expect, will be staying in Narin. Pretty much the only place with a proper hotel on the route. Sofian, I can almost guarantee Sofian will be staying just here where Max is. That is the hotel. And actually Sofian's a bit of a legend in these parts. People like guest house and hotels know him because he's obviously won it 3 times. He's been through so many times that the people actually know him. So he knows the people at the hotel in Narin. So he'll get a good night's sleep. And I've got a voice note from him as well. Sounds like it's not been going super well for him. Manu said earlier that he was really looking pretty skinny and quite weak. So I imagine Sofian is struggling. A little bit further back, we've got a little collection of riders at CP2. I'm pretty sure Kerry will be in there somewhere. Let's see if I can click on a dot. Yeah, Kerry's at CP2. I've not heard any or seen any Instagram updates from her so far. I suspect she'll be staying there tonight. It's pretty late. It's pretty high. You don't really want to be out on that high plateau without well, when there's an option to kind of have a good sleep. She's still ahead of Natalie. Natalie's just on the pass up and over into the checkpoint, so she's got a couple of hours. So I suspect it's a two or three, if not even more, hour lead for Kerry at the moment. So yeah, the women's race seems to be fairly stable, and the men's race is getting that pretty strong structure to it now. And yeah, Justinas seems to be flying up front. The King of Chaos is back. And the funny thing is, I've got a voice note from him as well, but he was telling me before how unfit he felt, how fat he felt. And, it's probably done him a favour, actually, if he's gone with a couple of extra kilos and been sick for the first few days. And the one thing about Justinas is that, I'm pretty good friends with him. I know him pretty well. And we spent a lot of time riding together, and he's just such a robust rider, and he's the kind of guy that can ride himself fit in a race. And good to see him up front. So that's kind of a bit of an overview for now. Before we go any further, Albian are supporting this coverage, and I've showed you a couple of the layers. And you might see some video of and some photos of Justinas later. He's in the full Zoa kit. So I'll show you some photos on the Silk Road page later of him at CP2. You're up at 3,000 meters, 3,500 meters. He's in full rain trousers and Zoa jacket, and this is kind of the outer shell you want in those kind of conditions. It's all about layering. I showed you the insulated layer yesterday. In actual fact, that's me on the screen there last year in the Silk Road mountain race. You can see the insulated layer. Pretty certain Justinas will have that underneath. It's all about layering. So this is a really good combination. The rain trousers and the Zoa rain shell over an insulated layer. They really do give you quite a lot of warmth when you're riding. And then if you've got something like the Zoa mountain jacket, which is like a proper down jacket, that can be quite good for sleeping. Although knowing Justinas, I suspect he doesn't have that with him. He's pretty happy-go-lucky with stuff like that. That's just a little overview of some of the kit that's being used out there from Albian. I've got a bit of a discount code, so check that out. And it's they've got some proper good kit. So big up to Albian there. So let's have a little look before we get onto the voice notes and the stories. Just see what the riders are doing. Again, you know that I've got this cheeky little 3D update on Rub GPS here. So you may notice there's a bit of a loop here. So essentially, there's not much of a way aside from the main road next to the lake here to get back and forth between this section and this checkpoint. So the riders will loop back on themselves here. So essentially, the riders drop down from CP2. It's a fairly long descent. You can kind of see it's a plateau, a bit of a climb. This is a long descent, a real rough dirt road, but there's a lot of tourist 4x4s and stuff go up there, so it's fairly well driven. And then a few rollers, but these are small climbs in the grand scheme of Kyrgyzstan. They're on tarmac. They're fairly easy going. And then Narin, you can see here, sits in this valley. I think it's the Narin River that runs down that valley. This is probably the biggest town you will find on the Silk Road mountain race. I say probably, it is. It's the best place for resupply. There's almost like proper restaurants. There's even like a coffee shop which has kind of started to kind of have been there appeared in the last couple of years. It wasn't there the first time, but it was the second time. And then there's just a long draggy climb. You can see here on the profile, like there's a lot of greens, the blues and greens. These show the gradient, and it's just a long drag all the way up, and then a bit of a kick at the top onto Arabelle, over Arabelle Pass. So you can see up this long valley here, pretty spectacular. And then you're just going up this really spectacular, this is classic Silk Road mountain race territory. And then right at the end, you've got this little kind of kick up here. If I zoom in, you can see the hairpins at the top. I appreciate if you're listening on the podcast, this is more of a visual thing. But yeah, go check out Rob GPS and see their stuff. And then a bit of a plateau. You can see the bit of a plateau over the top. This is actually where I ended up pulling the pin and scratching last year. And then you roll down this super fast dirt road all the way down to the CP in Tamga. So I've ridden all of that. The only thing I will say that the storms tend to build up at this end of the lake in the evenings. So I think the riders could potentially be seeing some sketchy weather for the first time, depending on the time of day they get there. So that's where we stand at the moment. And then tomorrow there'll be tomorrow for Justinas, there'll be probably climbing straight back up. I think this is Tossor Pass, one of the classics. I've not actually ridden it yet, so definitely want to ride that at some point. This would have been in last year, but obviously I scratched. And then back down the Arabelle Valley, and then starting the final run-in. But the final run-in is most definitely not easy, but we'll come to that in the next few days. So before we go any further, I've got a couple of voice notes. So you can tell when it's remote, when you don't get much in the way of voice notes, because as soon as they get back into reality, they start sending me bits and pieces. So first up, I've got a voice note from Justinas. So let's hear what Justinas said. So this would have been this morning on race time.
Yeah, hello, big boy. Best wishes from Marine. Pretty sure you resupplied here before. Leaving. Going towards CP3 now. Strange because just left the CP2. Got a nice sleep up there. And now a couple of 100 kilometers. Probably sometime tomorrow. It's cloudy for the first day ever here, and it's not plus 1 million, so feels very fresh today. So I hope it's gonna stay like this, because that heat has been a nightmare. Anyway, and I hope you both have fun following.
So yeah, really good to hear from Justinas there. So yeah, obviously suffering in the heat like everyone, but yeah, man's a machine, and sounds in good spirits finally, and it's good to see him up front. So yeah, really good progress from Justinas. I've actually got a couple of messages from Jens. He did try and send me one on day 3, but it didn't get through. So I've got a day 3 message and a day 5 message, but it's good to hear from Jens. So let's listen and see what he's got to say.
Good. I'll try to keep it short. I'm riding past a small village, and I probably won't have reception after it. Thanks for doing daily updates. Haven't heard them yet because there's not much coverage here, but I'll catch up after. Well, for this race, I didn't really have a competitive goal. I just wanted. I was traveling in Central Asia with my girlfriend, bike touring. Just wanted to extend the trip, and then while I'm at it, I wanted to experiment with some recovery strategies, which I'm doing. So I brought a full tent setup, I brought a stove, a bunch of meals. I tried to sleep a lot, eat really well. I mean, not really well, but like as well as you can in Kyrgyzstan. And then I don't ride big days, but the hours I do ride, I try to ride as fast as I can. And so far it's been really good. It's also a lot of fun doing it this way, just having a big sleep, having good legs all day. It's pretty awesome. I do realize we're only day 3. So I'll probably make this last words, but so far so good. Okay, thank you. If I'll get another update soon. Ciao. Hey Josh, I see my previous message had not been sent. It's now day 5. I've had a really rough day. Head is good. I think the legs are good, but stomach doesn't give me anything. So I feel like it's turning around now. So let's press on. And also, hey, some dot washers. And also, my headphones got nicked, so it'll be harder to give updates. Thanks as always. Ciao.
So yeah, that was Jens. Really good to hear from Jens. And as he said, he tried to send a message on day 3, but they were super remote and had no signal, so it didn't get through. But interesting to hear, he's actually traveling with like freeze-dried meals and a stove, and just trying to rest hard and ride hard. And it seems to be paying off. It does look like now he's stopped for the evening. He did say he was feeling a bit weak, so I wonder if he's just stopped early, and that's how Alex has kind of got ahead. But yeah, there's an interesting little battle for the podium there, because Manu's still rolling as well. Manu knows this area. He's probably going to sleep in a similar area. So I think tomorrow we could have a three-way battle for those 2 remaining podium spots. And I think all these guys in Narin are probably going to stay there for a decent sleep tonight. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. One final voice note. This was just a little update from Sofian. So let's hear what Sofian's had to say about the last few days.
Yeah, I think this year Kyrgyzstan has gotten the better of me. I feel like my physical shape has been deteriorating quite rapidly over the last few days. Yeah, the plan is to stop in Narin for probably 8 hours. Press the reset button. I'm fucking exhausted, man. Couldn't get anything going this morning. Had to stop every 30 minutes or so to nap, even though I had stopped for 8 hours. Yeah, man, it's tough this year. It's very tough. It is what it is. The aim is still to finish this. Yeah.
So there we go. That was Sofian. Sounds like he really is suffering. So I think he's probably, well, I think he's admitted defeat there in terms of chasing the win there. But Sofian doesn't give up. He's going to do his best to finish. I do wonder if the sickness took a bit more out of him than he let on. I mean, he did sound pretty weary in his day 1 messages. Yeah. But Sofian, and you never know with him, and I would not put anything past him. I still wouldn't be surprised if he managed to have a big sleep and then get back on the podium, but you do never know. So yeah, good to hear from Sofian, even though he's not in the best of spirits. Alex Kopp, just sharing some photos. So that's just what you're looking at. It looks like the old Soviet road, actually. And this is the border road. The Chinese border road up C2. In actual fact, if you look behind me on my background, that is that road. It's pretty wild up there, and yeah, just beautiful. That's the old Soviet road. Looks very green. I've only seen it kind of in the dark or in the blistering sun, but yeah, it looks quite nice there. And Alex loves his lip salve stuff. So if you ever have bad lips on a race, go and find Alex. He's probably going to have some lip salve. So yeah, nice to see a little update from Alex. I'll try and get a voice note, actually. Not heard much from him. And then this is another little video that Sofian put up, pretty much kind of confirming what we've already heard in the voice note, but we'll hear from Sofian anyway.
Right, it's been a while since my last update. I'm leaving checkpoint 2, where I had a bit of food. Yesterday was quite hard yesterday morning. Lots of elevation, lots of hiking. Spent a good chunk of the day with Manu towards west. I'd say 5 or 6 before reaching the military checkpoint. I started feeling not so well, but I managed to hang on until the border at Torugard. There, Manu and I found Omar, who was in a small building. We joined him. Manu stayed just a couple hours, I think, I don't know. I was feeling really, really bad. Like, I don't know. I was shivering. My heart rate was through the roof. I really needed to lie down, that's for sure. Later during the night, we were joined by Max and Niels, and we all left this morning around 4:35, and honestly, this morning was one of the worst mornings of my life in terms of how weak I was feeling. I was like crazy weak. Not even able to push 100 watts. Still made it to checkpoint 2. Now the plan is to make it to Narin. And there in Narin, get a room, to get a meal, and shower. Long night, and try and finish this ride. But basically today I'm just hanging on for dear life. It's 120k to Narin, so should be doable. Now is on to the old Soviet road. Not looking forward to this.
So yeah, so that's Sofian. Sounds like he's suffering. So hopefully he's going to feel better after a night in Narin. And then finally, I just finished with the Silk Road Mountain Race Instagram. Obviously got some really great photographers out there. They've got their own podcast too, so definitely worth listening for some news on the ground. And this is just CP2. So there's Justinus when he turned up. That's on the Chinese border road. And that's Jens. There's some big kind of rivers. It looks like there's quite a lot of water in it this year. There's probably like 4 or 5 mini river crossings within one big kind of river. Estuary is not the right word, but kind of a big wide spread. I guess when it melts, the snow melt in the spring floods that whole area. But yeah, it's definitely cold water. Jens looks like he got through at sunset. Some of the locals out there. And that's Justinus arriving at CP2. So he's got his Albian ultralight layer on there and backpack, as you can see, and got his stamp. And there he is, full Zoa, rain jacket, rain trousers, keeping warm, having a sleep. And there's Jens rolling in. And the food is good there. This is probably the best meal you get on the Silk Road Mountain Race. I probably arrived at a similar time last year. It's absolute heaven, and it's a beautiful spot as well. And that's Alex rolling in this morning. So that's those guys. And then the last one, the Silk Road, is as a classic old Soviet road. This is the push-up. It's just a savage, steep hike bike. Not particularly technical. It's just an old tank track. But as you can see, it's pretty brutal.
Fucking Soviet.
Sofian telling you what he thinks about it. But yeah, there's in the background there, that's CP2. So that just gives you an idea of the steepness. It's like Omar there. And yeah, it's an absolute brute, but it's spectacular. I mean, it sucks, but then you turn around and look at the view, and that's China in the background just behind the border. So yeah, pretty amazing really. And yeah, Kyrgyzstan is a beautiful place. So that is my update for day 5 now. I'll be back in tomorrow, and yeah, bring you some more updates. So thanks for watching. See you soon.